Hello everybody!
Hello everyone, how are you doing?
How is everybody doing in YouTube lands tonight?
Ooh, we've got different heads up.
We've got different heads, different displays. There we
I
go.
feel, I feel like I can move in it a bit
You
closer.
can. Just not too close. Thank you very much. Just need to...
Anyway, yeah, it's been that sort of week.
Who have we got online tonight? We've got Craig Sargent, we've got Rosa, we've got Matt Collins, we've got Into the Glory Hole, Andrew Marlowe, Jonathan Grant, Milky Paints, MacLeod, Brandon McDowell, Daniel Bungay, Michael Snap, Timothy Greaves, VJ Morph. Wow, there's loads of you online tonight.
Hey, VJ, hello,
Enrique
VJ.
Vela, Ed Hilar, should I say Morph, not VJ Morph, sorry, always get that wrong. Noctel, who else I don't want to make sure I know? Lazarus, HRI Miller, one of our newer Patreoners, I believe that is HRI Miller.
Yes.
Mick Marriott. Hello everyone. Hello. Hopefully I haven't missed anybody out, but
You surely have.
I probably haven't. I apologise to anybody who I have. TNL VJ asks and Mr. Morph asks, what did I miss? It's Tuesday Night Live.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like the funniest program to ever be on live. There's never been anything else that's been funnier on any other evening of the week.
Carl John says hello from Colchester, Essex. Hello.
Hello.
Gerard says evening you. Hello Gerard. Not sure we've seen you comment before. Maybe we have. Maybe we haven't. I can't remember. My brain
We've got
doesn't
all
really
these
store
new
very...
people in. It's almost
Loads.
like we've teased a giveaway.
Oh, almost like we just teased a little bit. Teased it. Yes, we have. We have a giveaway tonight. Now I'm going to talk. I'm going to attempt to slightly alter Robin's camera at the same time because you're slightly not quite centered. There we are. That's
Is my
what I
5
wanted.
o'clock shadow showing up? Is that what
Little- I think mine is a little bit too. Yeah. No worse than the wife's though.
Rosa's liking the new layout.
Good.
Show off the mug. I can show off the mug. Here you go.
Show off the money. We figured, you know what, it was about time that we had a
These
chat.
are available on Teespring.
They
Those
are.
who interested. Yeah.
and Teespring. There is a link in the description if anyone's interested. We're up to 43 already. Hello everyone. Good lord. Yes, we are doing a giveaway tonight, which we will go into details on in a little while, but it's safe to say that there's a theme tonight and it might be related to that.
Absolutely.
And another mention on mugs is if you're one of our patrons, you join our Warhammer Underworld's online tournaments, you could be in with a chance of winning a mug there if you can win. We have several winners. I don't know if any of them are online tonight, but we have had several winners. Ross says 57 million inbound. Yeah, that'd be nice.
All of our Patreon supporters are winners, really. But some of them have won the mug and the Warhammer Underworld tournament we've been running on a semi-monthly basis.
Yep. So I should just do all this without my glasses, mostly because Matt doesn't like it. But also, you don't get any shine off of the lights then.
Oh, not off your glasses, anyway.
No, that's true. Somebody said Hero Quest. No, it's not Hero Quest, and I'm very disappointed by the Hero Quest announcement. Just very disappointed. Damn it, you, Robin.
I couldn't give two fucks about the Hero Quest announcement. No.
Don't sit on the fence. Tell us how you feel, mate.
Sorry, I just thought I'd...
You're always hiding what you really mean. It's so annoying.
Yeah, I as I've said before, being a little bit older than most of you watching, I was actually already playing D&D and all sorts of things like that, and Warhammer, by the time Hero Quest came out. So for me, it was like, what's this infantile children's game, puny game?
Are you saying you were too cool for Hero Quest?
No, that isn't what I'm saying. Far from it. But I was too nerdy for Hero Quest, so it kind of passed me by. So I'm a little bit sorry that it's not, well, this new no UK shipping thing is surely that's only going to last a little while, because surely more people in the UK bought it possibly than the US. Certainly percentage of population, I would have thought.
I don't know if was Hero Quest ever available in the US. I mean, I know it's available in the UK, and this is obviously...
It must have been available.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's on in the US. They tend to be having their dinner at this sort of time. But I first launched in the UK. Mick Marriott says Mick Marriott knows everything, so it's worth. He's always got the answers. So I think.
Yeah, I mean, I was
Oh yeah, they played. Ben Schultz played the hell out of it in the US. Excellent. Okay, well, played the heck out of it, surely.
The heck.
So that's how we understand it anyway. From
And
the,
it was a
Yeah.
pre GW Global world domination sort of bid, so they weren't quite as big in the US back then. I still think if they kind of seem to be cutting their nose off a bit to not be releasing it available to the UK. It feels to me.
BJ says he had room for both D&D and HeroQuest in his life. Well, yeah, well done, BJ.
Robin was exclusive.
I don't know. I think they had advanced HeroQuest. I can't remember. I assume that came out after HeroQuest. Otherwise, it wouldn't have made any sense. But
that would be a little weird.
Yeah, but I think so it kind of passed me by. So but I was interested in the development because I thought actually. We've talked about trying to get hold of a copy and playing games on the channel, and I thought actually it could be quite nice to play. But if it's just the same rule set and new miniatures, it's I'm a bit dubious because there aren't very many games from the 90s that are still any good.
That is true.
You look at Talisman, which I did really enjoy for a short period of my life. That you play it now and it's pretty ropey.
They've definitely aged, haven't they? And it's not good for the most part, I think. And it is a shame that they're just doing a reprint, and it's a bit crap that they're just doing a reprint as well, because it's what's his people, the board game company.
Avon Hill?
No, the other one. There's an even bigger one.
Oh, Hasbro. Sorry.
Hasbro. They're not a small company, and yet they're doing like a Kickstarter for this. It's like, fuck's your problem? And the Kickstarter target's like £1 million. Like, really? You don't do this for £500,000? You're like, nah, £500,000, not even going to bother. Just seemed a bit of a dick move, really. So yeah, for me, it's kind of, I was really excited about it, and then I saw that, I was like, oh well, that's one less thing to have to give a shit about, at least. Yeah,
because it's not cheap either, is it?
No.
Well, I assume back in the day it had a reasonable entry level price.
I'm assuming, I mean, I can't remember what it was back in the day, but I'm assuming it was like 30 odd quid for the board game, because it was a Hasbro game, sort of, that was GW models, but it was primarily done by Hasbro. So Mick Merritt says 30
quid.
There you go. So I mean, with inflation, that probably comes up to about 70 quid now, something like that. And
I think we should employ Mick as our. I mean, you're not.
He's our fact checker,
but we should employ as our sort of test match special stat guy.
Yeah, Mick, you've been promoted. You're now our stat expert.
Oh, he says may have been £20. He's not as reliable.
Oh, fuck's sake, Mick.
Sorry, Mick. You don't have to come for interview now. You earn your job straight away. You have to come for interview now.
But yeah, it's that kind
of. I say come for interview. It'll have to be Zoom.
But yeah, I just, once I heard that, I was like, oh, you know what? I don't have to care about it at all. Then I mean, you could probably pick up a copy of the original HeroQuest for like less than 80 quid off.
Well, you could yesterday. You won't be able to today.
No, probably not. I mean, I picked up a pretty much almost mint condition version of Space Crusade for about 70-80 quid last year at some point, and that's been very, well sealed under my bed and left there ever since. I think I played one game with the kids, and then a bit like HeroQuest, I sort of thought, actually, this is a bit shit, so I put it away and never bothered with it again.
Yeah.
There's just better games now, faster games.
Mick's got 3 sets in the loft, so we're all going around to Mick's house to steal them.
Well, at least Mick can play it the right way, which is the best way, according
that is true.
According to the bardic, what's his name, the man with the more impressive beard than I.
It's bardic something, isn't it? But I can't remember.
Bardic something rather. Yeah,
his video was great. We were talking about that on the Patreon chat today. His video is really good.
Yeah,
if you want a more modern talisman, the Cataclysm expansion brings it into modern gaming quality. Interesting. I'll bear that in mind.
I can't remember, someone said, I can't remember if it was on the Discord chat or something else, that the guy, the Bardic Barbarian or whatever his name is, that he'd done a degree in art or something like that. I can't remember now. Or something like that. Or he'd done a dissertation in barbarians or something like that, whatever it was. But he's a very well spoken man, and I love his style of
absolutely. Either degree in art or facial growing hair, facial hair growing, one of the two. He's got his minor in that. Art, he's got a degree in art, Andrew says. John Mackenshaw would go for Mighty Empires. I do actually have a copy of Mighty Empires, or I think about Mighty Empires still, which might show up in the garage shots because it's in the garage, so look out for that. I would definitely play that again.
So I guess we better get onto our subject for tonight. Then we've already managed. I think it's got to be a new PB for us. We've already managed to go off topic.
Well, funny you were going to say that. I was actually going to derail it again by saying we
Okay.
are having a chat with the guys at Steamforge Games to try out their new Bard Song game. Or is anybody not called? Is it called Bard Song?
I thought it was.
Bard.
I don't know if that was the game or if that was the company.
Which we're interested in. We're talking to them about. We might get a game with that. We might get a game on TTS with the designer. Hopefully, that's what we're hoping for. But it looks quite an interesting game. It's a co-op dungeon crawl. So we'll bring you more of that as it comes. That is coming to Kickstarter in November. If we get any more news, we'll bring that to you. But that's a little development that we're hoping to bring to you. Well, I guess if we get the TTS game up, that'd be good. But I think the actual we won't get a physical game till the Kickstarter lands. But
which will be in about 2 years.
Should be fun. But I think Steamforge are a little bit more. It's a bit more like a, that's their business model. So I think they want to get out reasonably quick. I should think.
Yeah, makes sense for a company that size as well. I think so.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned Armada. I didn't see anything about Armada. Is that by? Who's that by? I know it's not a GW thing.
It's the Kings of War. Is it Kings of War?
Oh, is it Kings of War?
What's his name? Not Bardic. The guy who's more popular than us, Andy.
That doesn't narrow it down.
Blackjack.
That doesn't narrow it down at all. The guy who's more popular than us. The teacher at my kid's school. I don't know what I do.
Anybody. Yeah. Mantic Games. He was talking about it. That's where I've seen it.
I don't mind the idea of a Dreadfeet type game, but it comes down again to the kind of, the mechanics of it. I would really like to see more hex-based games, because I think hexes give you a perfect amount of manoeuvrability without getting the dreaded tape measure out. Tape measures they just add. Necromunda's been okay, because Necromunda's a bit more that we've been playing, because it's a bit more of a cooperative storytelling game. But the minute you have a tape measure, and we've said this before on this channel, the minute you add a tape measure into a game that's competitive, you just open up a whole new level of pain. Even when it's like two friends playing a friendly game, it's just a bit of a bother to try and being able to measure around things and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and you end up inadvertently cheating, or at least I do. And I say inadvertently, I just mean cheating.
Or robbing yourself by thinking, they can't possibly be that far. That can't be, the full 12-inch movement. So I'll move to here, and then you're just robbing yourself as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you end up moving it, and then moving this guy from the back, and then you realise you've actually moved him like sort of 24 inches because you moved him from one side of the unit to the other, just because you're not so much in Necromunda because you haven't got so many models, but it just the whole thing becomes a drag, and then you measure, should you measure, shouldn't you measure, all that kind of stuff. So yes, I love. That's why because of its hexes. Shall we move on to Underworlds with that little segue there?
I think we can do. Let's move on to possibly.
I'm wobbling about, Pete. What are you
doing?
To me?
I'm just making you bigger.
Out of my bubble.
I'm making you bigger, Robin. See, it's that easy.
I see.
I prefer having hexes just because I find it makes the games neater, and that's about it. I just think it's just neater. There's less hassle.
There's no arguing.
Hexes or boards.
Not even arguing. You just know where you're at.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just, are you in that hex or aren't you in that hex? I mean, they kind of made it a little bit more confusing in Underworlds because you've got blocked hexes and partial hexes, and then that has blocking line of sight, which you have to try and work out a bit. But even then, it's fairly easy at the end of the day.
Is that a Man U mug? No, it's not a Man U mug. It's better than a Man U mug.
Best mug you can get. And keep an eye out, because sometime in the next few weeks we're going to be making some announcements about Patreon and what extra goodies you might be able to get through Patreon support as well. But that's for another announcement at a later date. And you do have still not backworks, although it's you. I mean, for the most part, you never use it.
So you don't, because nobody ever has it, unless you're playing Condemners, and even then you normally just kill everybody.
Yeah. And the other good thing about having boards is generally when you're playing with boards, whether it's hexed or whether it's anything else, when you're playing with the board, you generally don't have to bother with scenery,
that's also brilliant.
A massive pain in the. I mean, don't get me wrong, massive games of 40k with sweeping terrain or AOS or any tabletop game looks immense when you've got the nice scenery, but how many of us ever have had full multiple tables worth of nice looking scenery to play on? Sorry?
Rob. He has. He's one of us.
Yes, right, yeah, but again, yeah,
Yeah.
within reason. I mean, it's a bit easier with something like Necromunda because that's a bit more centralised. But yes, Rob does have a absolutely spanking looking board.
There's a few comments here I just want to catch up on. Into the Glory Holes, as Crisis Protocol does it with strict measuring rules, and the measuring sticks are part of the box set. Yeah, that's a Fantasy Flight thing, because I think Star Wars Legion has it as well. That has.
Yeah.
So, and I quite like that, but I also object to it because it's kind of like where you've got to then have their proprietary
measuring system,
measuring sticks, which is kind of annoying, especially when you snap it. But I do quite like the way they work. And then somebody else said about X-Wing it being good. I like the way X-Wing, I talked about this before on live chat. I do like the way X-Wing works with the movement kind of arcs and things, and that's quite clever. But you've got this flat table, don't really need scenery because it's space. But as soon as somebody knocks the table or you knock the model over, you've screwed it up, because orientation and everything is really important. So trying to play with the kids in particular is a bloody nightmare.
Yeah.
You bang the table and they all fall over.
Even just idiots like us, who are just like, you reach across to do one thing and you're fiddling around over there, and then you reach back and then you just knock a particularly precariously tall model flying, and you're like, shit, where was that? I think it was around here, but...
Yeah, when I said the bloody kids, I actually meant you. And me. You know what? I'm going to give myself a cramp again tonight. I think I need to change the chair. You need
to sort of stand whilst you're talking, and then slowly sort of do squats whilst you're talking.
It's because the chair is... I'm getting old and the chair's cutting off circulation to my legs.
It's because you're old, but it's the chair's fault. Yeah. The chair is ancient.
I think the design of the chair is not suited for old legs, that's what I'm saying. This chair actually is older than me.
Wow.
Not like you can see it, but it was my granddad's chair.
Why isn't it in some kind of museum?
I had it when he passed away, and it's come back from when I was a child, and come to my house. It's in my dining room now. Anyway,
Gaz says you're not drinking enough water.
A huge digression.
That was about as far away from the original subject matter as you could get, I think. Yeah. Wolfman Gaz says you're not drinking enough water. You want to get one of...
I think she said that last week. I've been very conscious of not drinking enough water and try to drink as much as possible.
I thought you were being very conscious about not drinking enough water. No, I don't want to drink that water. I don't want to drink enough. You want to get one of these chairs. My office paid for my chair because I'm working from home now.
My wife doesn't let me have money. Well, she does, but I spend it all on miniatures.
Spend it on plastic crack. Weren't you meant to buy the shopping for this week? Look at this box set.
Yeah. Look at these lovely Necromunda figures. Dread Zone's come up. Yes, Dread Zone's come up before. I think VJ's... Is it either VJ or Justin? Not Justin. Jason. One of our Aussie patrons absolutely loves Dread Zone, or keeps saying we should play Dread Zone. I'd love to. No, VJ, yeah, Dread Zone is cool. I'd love to play all these games, but I'd have to...
Dead Zone or Dread Zone?
I'd have to get... Dead Zone.
Dead Zone.
Oh no, is it? Oh, no, I thought it was Dread. No, it's Dead. Sorry, it's Dead. I feel like there is a Dread Zone.
There might be. There's There's
a Dead Zone to put by Stephen King, isn't it? Anyway, it's got Christopher Walken in the film.
Much better than Necroblunder. You shush. I mean, it might be. I don't know. I've never played it. Somebody else mentioned a bit further up. I'm a bit of a GW fanboy. I don't think I've really ever played stuff that's not GW, just because I've
quite hard to get him to play things that aren't GW people. But then he's forever trying to get me to play Bloodborne. I don't do that either, so I suppose it's all 50-50 really.
Piss each other off. Fine, if you're not playing that, I'm not playing this.
Yeah.
Well, it's more just a case of what we've got as well, isn't it? We just don't have enough stuff.
Dread Zone is banned, apparently. It just shows I'm down with the kids.
There you go. So I guess we're going to move over to actually talking about tonight's subject, which is which is Arena Mortis, and what we think about it. Now, we can only base what we think about it and what we say on all the other reviews other people have done. So we're going off of largely people like Hexes and Warbands and people like that who've
largely
done articles.
Only it's the only one I've read.
Well, I think I said largely, but that's what I meant.
Trust Aman's word.
We do. We are trusting Aman's
word.
Although I don't remember from skim reading his article, because I haven't had a chance to read it all properly yet. I don't think he went into a lot of detail about how the actual Arena Mortis game works.
No.
There was a very large section about all the cards and reviewing those, but I don't remember a lot about the actual standalone game.
Yeah, Larval Lance and Substance Siphon OP confirmed. Yes, we could start there. Do we think they're going to get a nerf? Because the game could go up to 9 rounds, which means they'd be doing +9.
9 defense dice.
Yeah,
and
or
9
9
hammers, 9 damage. No, it'll
Yeah.
get nerfed. It'll get stopped at 3, I think. I think that'll be the first thing in the errata. That will not make any sense to people next year who've never heard of Arena Mortis when it says you can not have any more than 3, and people will be reading it going, well, you can only have 3 rounds. What the fuck are you on about? Of course you can only have a maximum of 3. And then people are going, I remember back in the day when Arena Mortis came out, and they'll be like, what are you on about, old man? Shut up.
Yeah, I don't think GW will support Arena Mortis after this weekend. Well, they're bringing out some more fighter cards, aren't they, or something?
They are, yeah. They said they're going to be doing some free downloads. That is true.
Yeah.
I mean, several people have commented about, Sepulchral Guard getting a boost, and nice to see Season 1 getting a buff. I mean, it's only Sepulchral Guard, and to be honest, it's not the best buff in the world, but they are the only ones getting it.
Brandon says he's heard that the Arena Mortis addresses those cards, and they don't let you have 9 dice. Well, that's good.
Okay, well, there we go then. I mean, it is something. It's better than poking the eye with a sharp stick, I guess, but at the same time, it's not very much at all, and it's not really going to make a lot of people suddenly go, well, I've got to play Sepulchral Guard now at the next Grand Clash. I don't think, personally.
No, it's quite nice, as Mark says, it's nice to have an expansion. It does almost feel like that. I was just started to listen to the Path to Glory podcast about the new cards, and they were and I hadn't really noticed reading the stuff, but then listening to it, kind of a lot of the cards it is almost like a Sepulchral Guard add-on. It's like an excuse to do one, and they've just chucked in a board and a couple of other cards that other people want. But I guess we'll see. I mean, the raised mechanic is quite good, but it's not that strong, because you don't raise that many fighters in a game, do you?
Not often. Maybe
if you are
2 or 3 times tops.
Yeah, so you're not getting a lot of bang for your buck with the new raise mechanic. But I'd be interested to see whether it does go into orgasm. That's not what it's called. Diachasm.
Durgasm.
Yeah, whether because there's possibly another undead warband coming, and whether they might have something similar.
I think that the raise mechanic will become a thing.
We should ask Lazarus about the raise mechanic. He might have the inside line.
Why is that?
Because Lazarus was raised from the dead, I believe.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay, it was a really bad joke. I thought there was something else going on. I think we'll see the raise mechanic going when Durgasm. I don't think it'll be that major, and I think that maybe there'll be one other warband that might get it, and I don't think for the most part it's going to be that big a thing.
Yeah, sorry, you don't think raise will be that big a thing?
I don't think it will be. I think they'll add the tokens into that game, and they'll add the details, the rules into Season 4 to cope with it, so that people don't have to buy Arena Mortis to get those rules and tokens. But I think that'll be about it.
Possibly, yeah. Osirak Bone Reapers are the death faction with the least amount. The faction with the least amount of resurrection.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't follow the AOS law. I've completely since Carrion Overlord came out. I haven't taken any notice of AOS really. So I know very little about the law.
Same here for the most part. I mean, yeah, and I think that because the Thorns never had any kind of resurrection, but they do in AOS have some form of resurrection, so there's no telling really how much they're going to stick to AOS, I think. But yeah, I don't think for the most part, we did actually get a question about Arena Mortis, but I don't think for the most part we're definitely not going to play the Arena Mortis really. We might play maybe a TTS game if we can organise something.
I feel that the timing is unfortunate.
It's not the best
time. Just get up to 6 people. I suppose you can still play it with 6 people under UK lockdown rules. But
at the moment,
I can't remember. Outside maybe. But it's an unfortunate timing. But I'm guessing as Pete and I were talking behind the scenes, that is, although the schedule is the schedule. It's been scheduled for a long time. and they've pushed it back already, and it's got to come out at some point. It's just a little bit unfortunate that they've got this multiplayer game and it's almost impossible to get together. That said, I think it would be quite good fun to play on TTS, and it does seem to lend itself quite well to cam games because it's on a single board, isn't it? So I think it has got potential, and it looks like it's fun, but it isn't ever going to be. It's never going to take over the underworld world, is it? Or the underworld.
Lorne Bongo says you're fine playing with 6 in the pub until it's 10 o'clock.
Okay. That's true.
Elrom's going to bed because he's got a 14-hour work.
Have they go shooting with 30 people yet? I want to know that. Somebody said I saw somebody saying, if I change my wedding to become a shooting party, can I up the number of
Brilliant.
15?
Yes, but only if you're, one of the Lords and the House of Lords or whatever. Elrom's got to go to bed because he's got a 14-hour shift, so ouch. Good luck with that, mate, and sweet dreams. Someone did ask us a question about what is Arena Mortis earlier on, and it's basically a multiplayer, like up to 6 players game where you have one board, you have one fighter, you have a pack of ploys and upgrades, but you only score glory for killing people, and whenever you get killed, and if you start off with below a certain number of wounds, you can have a certain number of starting upgrades on your fighter, and you get a new upgrade every time you get killed. So it's just a funky little take on the regular Underworlds, but it's certainly not what could be considered a competitive take, I don't think. It seems
quite well balanced. I think the most interesting rule in it is the rule of having one upgrade of a certain type out at any one time.
Yeah, I like that.
We touched that last week, but I think that's I don't think they'll bring it into the main game, but it's a really interesting mechanic, which means you can put, for example, Lava Lance on your deck. But if you don't get it out last, you won't be using it very much.
No.
So then there's a risk. But if you don't play it in, then one of your opponents might be able to use it with impunity. So it's an interesting element to the deck building side of it, which I quite like.
Yeah, it means it's going to make things a bit more tactical when you're sitting there on your great strength upgrade and you think, do I put this on now? Do I wait a while? Do I risk it? Do I not? And a bit of second guessing what
you have a choice. Don't you just turn them over and put them on?
I'm not 100% sure.
For the upgrades, I think they just go on. I think.
Mick says.
Yeah.
So Mick says that it's great fun, but only with more than 2. I think it's 3 to 6, isn't it? So I think
3 to 6.
You have to have at least 3.
Yes, it's totally random. Gas says.
Yeah, I can see how it could be quite funky as a quick game to play if there's like a bunch of you in the pub or there's an uneven number of you and you want to do something. But it's not really good. I'm not particularly interested in it myself. Somebody else asked, do the Grimwatch get any benefits from this resurrection or the Skaven? And no, it's just the Sepulchral Guards are the only ones.
Yeah.
The logic there being they're not re-raising the previous Skaven or previous Ghoul. It's a brand new one that just happens to be exactly the same and have all the upgrades from the previous one as well. So it doesn't really make that much sense.
Yeah. Now I've been trying to work out whether I like it as a release or not, and I can't quite decide. Because I got a bit, not salty is the wrong word, but I didn't think much of the Power Unbound release, and I particularly don't like boards on their own releases, and this is like a combination of the two. It's a board and some new cards. I do feel like the cards are quite meh, apart from the essential ones that you have to buy the pack for to make sure you can use them. I can't remember what the cards are off the top of my head, but there's only about 3 cards. I think I would definitely use that in a game, or I would probably use that in a game. And I do object a little bit to releases like that. I know GW are a company and they've got to make money, but it always feels a little bit like I've got to buy all this stuff. I've made my thoughts on boards clear in the past. I just feel it's a bit, I'm basically buying it for Vision of Glory, and tight defense maybe, because it's not restricted. It's a not restricted version, pretty much, of Buried Instinct or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean that is part and parcel of the sort of the competitive card game thing, as Mick Merritt's just said. It's kind of what you sign up for in this world. That you. It kind
of is, yeah, it is, but it doesn't mean I can't moan about it.
Yeah, that is true. You can still moan about it if we've learned anything in life. It's that you can still moan about stuff regardless. And I think I'll mostly be buying it for the board, if anything, because once Dreadfane comes around, the other 3 boards, I think it's 3 boards, they'll be rotating out. So we're going to be left with about 2 or 3 boards left. There'll be the 2 Beastgrave ones. That'll be it.
Yeah, and I think that's partly where my frustration lies, because I can completely see the sense in rotating out cards and even bringing in new cards, because GW have learned what cards work well, and the cards they keep changing, but the game does get better as a result of that. But the boards, it makes no difference, and I don't really see that board rotation needs to be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think
rotated out.
I can't think of many real reasons where you can say this board is broken. If you take this board, it breaks the game. There are some boards that make some tactics a bit easy, but you can only use them once in the best of 3 anyway. So there's the Molten Shard Pit. If you offset with that one, you end up with that great big lethal hex area. Yeah, that's a pain in the arse if your opponent offsets, and then you have to get past that. But at the same time, they can only do that in one game. So I agree with you. I don't think that the boards need to be rotated out.
No, I don't think so. And somebody said that the Shadespire boards didn't rotate. No, they didn't, but I think they're going to rotate out this time.
They didn't last time because they were released separately from Shadespire. They came with their own pack.
Except, does that mean that the Nightvault boards are rotating out as well?
Yep.
Because they didn't get released as a pack. So does that mean we're going to lose 4 boards?
Yeah, we're only going to have the Beastgrave board left. The Beastgrave boards, the two Beastgrave boards. That's one of the reasons why I want Arena Mortis, is so that I've got more than two boards to choose the sides from.
That's bizarre. I'm sorry, that's bizarre.
It's just, I mean, that feels like the most like a money grab to me, really, out of all of them.
But it seems a little bit shooting yourself in the foot. I really don't know why they're doing that. But it just, yes, and I think I do object to sort of, I have to now, if I want to carry on playing the game at all, pretty much, I have to buy these extra boards. But I think
the problem of what we've made with the channel.
I think I suppose so. I think they've done that. They put it with cards because I think they know that they couldn't sell very many boards on the back of that. Because although there are some definite advantages to boards, for most casual, it's only really tip-top players who absolutely have to have the best boards all the time, I think.
Yeah, and obviously boards do make a difference. They can make some difference. I just don't think they break the game as much as a badly written card might do.
No.
So
no.
We do have a few questions.
And the cards change the rules. I mean, unless they're going to bring out wildly different boards that have, I don't know what they might have on them, but completely change it up. The cards actually change the game. So it's not even just, ready for action is too powerful or whatever. They actually bring in effectively new rules into the game, which change the way it works. Like this raise thing, the cards, and there's something else. The new cards that spend glory. Somebody asked that way out in the chat, which I wanted to bring it back to. The cards where you now spend glory to do effects, which I think is a really interesting design space opened up.
We got asked that in a moment. Should we talk about that in a second? Because we had a few questions pop into the channel.
Yes, go on. Well, somebody else mentioned that way up, you see. But yes, go on.
We'll do that in a second then. HRI Miller said, if people bring their own boards for competitive play, what's the point? I'm not sure what your question was there. Can you clarify that one? Sorry. What were the other questions that people had asked? I'm trying to see now what other questions there are. Is
it each board can only be used once in a competitive round for each player, or each player can only select it once? Each player can only select it once, Michael. So you have to pick 3 different boards, but they're irrespective of what your opponent chooses. And that's only 3 different boards if it goes to three rounds, obviously. Yeah.
And people have pointed out that when Durgasm comes out, you will have 2 boards in there, so you'll eventually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You'll have 9, 10 different sides to pick from.
That's true. I'd forgotten that.
But at the same time, it's like, do we have a card? I don't want to get rid of my... I can't remember what that one is now. Something Star Dial or something? I can't remember what it's called. But it's definitely one of my favourites.
Yeah, but I like... the Mirror Well.
That's the one, Mirror Well. It's just nice. It's nice and easy, but yeah, there you go. So
maybe they just reprint it in Diagasm
with FU in faint letters above it.
Same hex arrangement.
I think it's Matt saying that you have the creakiest of all chairs.
I do, because it's older than me.
Real old. Needs the joints fixing a bit, maybe, just to get it sturdy again. But I'm interested to see. So shall we talk about that mechanic that you were just saying? Oh, by the way, someone also did say, which I wanted to echo, which is don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. If you're enjoying and you like giveaways, do hit thumbs up.
Yeah, we will do. We won't forget to do the giveaway.
Don't worry. Yes, I think half 10. Half 10, we'll talk about the giveaway stuff, which is in about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
At half 10, people shout.
So the cards then. This card, so the one that really I think is quite powerful and interesting, or potentially powerful, is at any cost. Spend 3 glory points. If you do, choose one friendly fighter with no charge or move tokens. That fighter makes a charge token.
It makes a charge token. Makes a charge action.
Makes a charge action, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Makes a charge token, yeah.
Oh, it's a charge token.
They whittle it from one of the old boards. I think that's a really interesting design space. I don't quite know whether that card is good. I see it being good for things like Skaven or Sepulchral Guard.
Why is that? Because they can't have a token in the first place, you mean? Or
you could, because you could charge in with them. The opponent can kill them. You can bring them back, and then you charge in with them again if you've got the glory.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you wouldn't have to activate. You wouldn't have to activate them to do it. I guess because there is an upgrade which enables you to remove a charge token, isn't there?
I think so.
After an activation, so you could use that upgrade to remove the charge token, then use the card to do another charge again in the power step. I think that is quite a powerful card. It's got the potential to make that.
Yes, that's towards the bottom, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, it's got the potential to do the old 1-2 combination of charge, wound somebody, maybe one of the big guys, and then charge in with somebody else all of a sudden, just to really throw your opponent off. Because it's been a long time since people have had to worry about the double charge.
Vision of Glory. Vision of Glory! That one.
Yeah.
Spend one, and that's only 1 glory point. Remove 1 move or charge token from this fighter and then discard it. Just an upgrade.
Yeah.
But it's that's really powerful, and it could be really good on Moloch.
Yeah, I think it means Moloch gets a triple charge option there, which I don't like. Don't like that.
It's pretty brutal, especially if you combine it with some of the stuff Michael Carlin was doing with putting him on. What's the one where you can move him onto any hex and things like that?
Yeah.
There's a new one, and then you could remove the charge token and then charge with it. It's pretty good, I think.
I mean, it definitely for what few cards there are in there that are good for everyone and not just Sepulchral Guard, it really does put the ball back in the offensive deck court, as it were, because there's several things that enable you to do that. Inevitable, really, because
Arena Mortis isn't about a positional play at all, is it? It's about killing things.
Yeah.
So I think I have my slight reticence with this card at any cost is that it is going to, if you're winning comfortably, or supposing you're playing a Grimwatch objective play, and you've farmed a load of glory, then it definitely will extend your lead, I think. No, it may make you unassailable because you're basically possibly going to get an extra free. We get free activation, which is huge in this game.
Yeah, I mean it does help both sides, and you only spend the glory, you don't lose the glory, so it's not like you actually physically lose it, or you just spend a few glory.
And there again, I mean, glory scoring is such in Beastgrave that you by the middle of turn 2 you've normally got more glory than you need to spend an upgrade.
Yeah.
So spending 3 glory, admittedly if the card comes out in the first turn it's not that great, but spending 3 glory any time after sort of middle of turn 2 probably isn't going to cost you anything. So effectively it's no cost. And then if you're ahead already, this will only probably only make you go further ahead, because if you've got the option to make an extra charge action and potentially kill one of your opponent's fighters, and your opponent's already behind, it kind of doubles down on them, which isn't great. But I'd have to see how it played to see how often that actually happened.
Yeah, I think I like the idea of this whole spending glory to do things mechanic. I think it's a new direction to go in. Every time I sit here and I think I can't think of what else they could add to the game, and then they add stuff like this, which I suddenly think, well, that's a really obvious thing to add, but it's also a really nice thing to add to it as well. So,
it is. My only reservation is that because, as I said, because glory is easier to come by in
Beastgrave.
in Beastgrave, that it loses its value. But I mean, I suppose it is a you can't use it straight away to get an advantage, early in the game. So I suppose that's better. But.
And for most warbands, the ability to score into the double digits of glory by the end of round 2 isn't that unheard of, unless you're Nurgle or something.
No.
And it does nicely counter the whole, if you have just run away on the glory front and you've got a bunch and you spend it on a few, because you have to spend like 2 or 3 glory to do something, you could be blowing all of your glory for something which fails and then not have any glory to spend on any upgrades. So it's a nice little double-edged sword there.
Well, it is, but I'm worried that it isn't. I think that's really what I'm saying. I think in a game where in a game like in Shadespire, where every glory mattered, then it would really be a real decision of, do I save this glory for this upgrade, or do I spend it on potentially getting more glory by taking an extra charge action? And that's a real dilemma. But if it's just, I've got 15 glory already and I've only got 2 upgrades in my hand and I've got 8 unspent, it doesn't matter. I can use that 3 and I can still play my upgrade, so there's no downside to playing it.
Yeah, there is that.
So that I feel like there's an economy there. It's not, it doesn't necessarily equate to having a cost, except if you draw that ploy at the beginning of the game, because then it's effectively useless. So there is. Yeah.
Now we've got. I've got the boards. If I quickly jump across here, I've got the boards. For some reason, Robin, you're huge. Let me just adjust.
Huge.
Huge. Can I?
I try and get back in the hole.
That's not what I want to do at all. There we go. Get back.
In the way.
Get back in the hole there. There we go. You won't get in the hole.
Story of my life.
There we go, it's close enough. So you're back.
I've got a strange echo apparently.
Sorry?
I've got a strange echo apparently.
Oh, hold on.
What have you done?
There we go. No echo now. There's no echo here. Don't know what you're talking about.
Echo?
Echo?
Echo. Oh, I made a brilliant dad joke the other day with my son, whose German textbook is called Echo. And he said, what's that? He showed, I said, what's that? He said, it's my German textbook. I said, all right. I said, what's that? And he said, it's my German textbook. And I said, what is it? He said, it's my German textbook. And your mum said, what's it called?
Tell me what the fuck it's called.
Yeah.
I had a really good joke the other day. There's 2 dogs sitting in the house. And one of the dogs looks really sad, and the other dog says, what's the matter? And he says, I'm really sad. Tell me a funny joke. And the other dog says, okay, knock knock. Oh, come on, that's funny. Knock knock. And then they both start barking, because dogs bark whenever someone knocks at the door. Screw you. People are laughing.
Sorry, I wasn't thick enough to get that.
Oh, fine. It's like that, is it? BJ says he told his wife the small, medium, large joke the other day, which she thought was great. I did that too. My wife just sighed and walked away. I also told him the rare, medium, well done, which again I got a look for, which suggested that divorce wasn't out of the question.
I got sent a new book to review this week, which I might treat you to some of the puns at some point. I'm just going to get it.
Oh God! Right. Well, whilst Robin goes to get that lethal weapon.
Yeah, if we get bored.
What do you mean when? So anyway, we've got some boards here. I thought it said fundamentalists. I was thinking that's a bit extreme.
Well, it's a.
Hey, thank you very much.
I don't need this book. I've got Pete.
Hang on, you said a minute ago.
That was funny.
That was quite quick for me as well.
Some of these jokes are very rude and not safe for work, so I won't be able to tell them.
Oh, the interrupting cow joke, Rosie. Yeah, that's a good one. I told my kids that. They found that hilarious. And then they try repeating it back to me, but they never quite got it right, so they would let me finish, and then they'd shout moo at me. And I'm like, no, that's not how this works at all. What can you do? So yeah, well, I've got one of the boards here. So this is one of the boards. This is the Shade Cursed Lair. I'm assuming that just means that it doesn't get a lot of light and is sort of northerly facing. It doesn't look like a bad board. You've got some X's, you've got some style X's, you've got some lethal X's. This one doesn't have any blocked X's though.
It does.
Oh yeah, it does. They're not really clear, are they?
It really does, yeah.
It's really not that clear.
I have to say, I read, this is the difference between me and Aman when we play the game. I read Aman's description of the boards and his thing. And he said something like, let's see if I can find it. He said, it's got some solid lethal hexes in interesting areas, as well as a nice blocked area in the centre of the board. It's probably a great reaction board, as you can defend quite nicely on it. And I'm just looking at it thinking, how? What do you do? How do you defend nicely on it? Why is that good? And the other one he describes as, it's got corner spots, which is super interesting. I do quite like the corner spots, I have to say. They feel like it's got big columns in it.
Yeah.
But he thinks it's a great board overall. It can be used offensively and defensively. And again, I'm looking at it thinking,
how?
How, Aman? I need a crash course in board placement.
In not being shit at this game, basically.
In not being shit at this game, yeah. Board placement, not an afterthought. That's what I need.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of always just end up talking myself into the fact that most of the boards are good at anything. I mean, I did note from this board though that there's slightly more hexes on one side than the other, so it's useful if you're playing offensive. You could flip it around, and have a few more nearer them, or likewise you could turn it the other way and have your guys a little further back. But there's probably other boards that are better for that. The 4 blocked hexes in the corners is quite funky, and I also noticed that none of these hexes, there's more than 2 where you could put a lethal hex between them, so you can only threaten 2 fighters with that.
You see, Brannon said, long boards, the corner blocked hexes create a ton of death.
Yeah, we do a little bit, I guess. You've got those 3 hexes down the middle.
I suppose so. But yeah, that's why I'm not very good at this game. I just can't visualise it.
I'm not sure how much of a ton of death it creates, though, but I don't know. The other one, having that lethal hex on that edge there, could be useful for longboarding, because you end up with a lethal slap bag in the middle of the board. Could be a bit tricky.
This is the other problem I have. I tend to look at the boards and don't play the ones with lethal hexes on, because I seem to be terrible at always getting lethaled. And then the only couple of times I played that one with everybody likes, with the 3 together that you can offset, you just pushed me back and forth through them, and just went home. I just went home sad.
Maybe this is where we really lack in the game. Is the thing I wonder, right? Is, we sit there and we say, okay, people like a man and that will come out with some really in-depth comments on the boards, and they're probably very right, but there's a little bit in the back of my mind that just thinks, how much this is just bollocks? How much is it just applies to all the fucking boards, and it doesn't really make that much of a difference, but people say it makes a difference because they want to sound like they know what they're talking about, but actually it means fuck all. That's what I want to know. Or is it just I don't have a clue?
Pete, sadly, I think that just shows how little we know how to play the
game. Maybe, but maybe not.
We're just starting to sound a bit like Donald Trump when we start to do that.
I just sit there thinking, okay, I see what you're saying about it, and it's a bit more obvious on the board with the corner hexes, and you end up with, yes, you can clearly see that 2 hexes are blocked off. How much of a difference does that actually make to a game, though? Does it make that much of a difference to a game? Maybe it does. I mean, I just don't have enough experience to say. But especially like on the first board, this board, it's got a couple of lethal hexes, it's got a couple of blocked hexes, and the starting hexes are all jumbled over the place. This looks...
Against aggro, Pete says yes. Mick Marriott, Stato, says there's a 2.74% win rate.
There we go. Thanks, Mick. Thanks for that. Maybe I'm wrong there.
I can see how you can offset this one. And
But with this board that I'm looking at right now, to me, honestly, it doesn't look any fucking different to most of the others. It's got some slightly different lethal hexes and slightly different... But I can't, like you said with the man's comments on it, I don't really get what he's saying. Like you said, he says this stuff about that board, and you're just sitting there looking at it going, how?
Yeah.
What? How?
And that's why he's perennially runner-up or better in Grand Clashes.
It could be.
Perennially last or not quite so bad.
But that just makes me think, and I'm not saying a man isn't a good player. He obviously is a very good player who would trounce me any day of the week. But sometimes I wonder how much of this stuff is said about boards and things because people are trying to think of stuff to say because they feel they've got to say something about it that sounds like it's important.
Morph is with you.
Yay!
Who
Me
agrees
and
with you?
Wolf.
Andrew says there's no actual evidence, but it is scientific fact. Been spending too long listening to the Prime Minister. That's me. We're back with politics again.
Stop it.
Sorry,
We're all in
Irony.
agreement on that one already. We're just in an echo chamber here. There's no point in going over that one again. But fuck me, the politics of it right now. But yeah,
There you go. So that was boards.
I just look at them and I think, I don't see how these are. Like with cards, I can see when they say this is a really nice card, you can see, yes, that is a really nice card. I can see how you could use that. And when they say this card is trash, I can generally look at them and I can appreciate, yeah, I can't see that I'd ever take that card because it's too situational or whatever. But for boards, I'm just looking at it and thinking, really don't see it. Don't see what you're talking about at all there.
Yeah, I do know it happens though, because sometimes on Warhammer Underworlds online, you pick your board and then your opponent takes them and does something horrible with them. You just think, shit. And so I can see that how this bottom one in particular here, the Ravaged Hall, I can see could cause some problems with that lethal hex and a good placement of another lethal hex. I can see that could cause you some issues.
I can see how some of the boards can make a difference as well if placed diagonally or long boarded. Like this one we're looking at now, I can see that if somebody placed it with their board at the top left of this board, yes, some of your fighters are a bit further away.
Yeah.
But again, I think that applies to loads of the other boards as well, so I don't think there's anything particularly groundbreaking about a lot of these boards. I don't see it. I mean, this one's interesting because it has the 4 block hexes, which will make things a bit more tricky to get to the other side when you're, coming up against an offsetting
If you're playing
board.
chicken warband, you're really stuffed.
That's a trickier one to play, yes.
Struggling, chicken, because you tend to get to the other side.
But again, it's only 1 block hex, so overall I don't see how that makes a massive amount of difference to one of the other boards that doesn't have a block hex in that place.
It does if you offset it, I suppose, because you can play it.
But you have to have at least 3 hexes complete. So
Yeah,
all it means
true.
is there's only 1 hex on your side they can't move into, which probably doesn't make that much difference. How often have you got it where 3 of those hexes of the 4 are filled, and the 4th one you're like, shit, I need that 4th hex and I haven't got it now, that's going to stuff me right up. I think it makes fuck all difference, to be honest. That's what I think.
Jay says board choice in Underworlds is like asteroid placement in X-Wing. It definitely makes an impact, but figuring out how to use it to your advantage is like opening your third eye. Well, I absolutely don't want Pete to open his third eye on the board, so totally happy for him not to know what's going on.
And Youngjin says that I maybe need to get a few games in to really see what can be done. To be honest, I don't think I will, even after playing several games with them. I'll probably be halfway through next year and still not really see much of a difference with all the boards, but maybe I just don't appreciate the game that much. Maybe that's why I've never won glass. Maybe that's why, I don't know. Or maybe it's because it doesn't make a fucking difference. I don't know, one of the two. But anyway, moving on.
So the thing is that I think what people are saying is if you put a lethal hex near the blocked hex, you've then got, with only 3, you've then only got 1 avenue, 1 hex to move through. Yeah. But I would just find that my opponent would just keep pushing me into the lethal hex that I put there, and then lose.
BJ, you could be right. It's because we have a life. You could be right there. Not saying that people who play this game don't have a life, obviously, but we have more life taking up other stuff than we can spend playing.
I think that's the difference. Jason's hit the nail on the head. He said he hasn't figured out how to do it, and it's just you need a ton of games with them all to see it. We play every week with different warbands, never really, and the boards end up being like an afterthought, almost.
It does a bit, but even then, I can't ever really think of many occasions where I thought, oh yeah, I definitely want this board for this tactic, or afterwards we've sat there and gone, oh yeah, because you placed this board that way around, that completely changed the game.
Eric's Eyes of the Nine deck, which relies on longboarding or keeping the two hex, the ones with the 2 starting hexes next to each other, and offsetting as much as possible.
I can see that bit, but that's mostly a case of you want 2 hexes next to each other and you want to longboard it.
Yeah.
But again, as long as you've got a board that has 2 hexes next to each other at one end of the board, and you can,
absolutely,
it just doesn't seem to make bugger all difference to me. But there we go. That's why I don't have any glass, I guess.
Brandon thinks that, and it's kind of goes with what we were saying. I think the specialist folks are really focusing on one warband. They're the ones who get really attached to boards. I think that's probably true.
Could be, and we definitely won't ever be in that.
I do a series of videos of picking boards first, then making a warband to play its advantages. Well, I can see why we shouldn't do that because we don't know. Well, why not do it?
I think we were talking before about things we'd like to see banned in this game, and longboarding was one of them. I think I'd like to see longboarding banned in this game. It's just not. It's not a casual move, is it?
No, it's not. It's having played that Eyes of the Nine deck, though, I do feel it has a place because it makes them feasible.
That's only because you won with them.
Well, exactly, but it makes them feasible, whereas otherwise I think they're unwinnable with them. So, Into the Glory Hole is going to Photoshop some frustrating board placements with the new boards. Thank you, Into the Glory Hole.
Cool. I mean, I think I'll struggle, or personally I think I would struggle to find a combination of boards where you couldn't put in several other boards in other rotations to not create the same problem, but
yeah.
Like I say, maybe that's why I don't have
anyway, we'll be able to make all sorts of exciting and wonderful longboard situations with the new boards because we've ordered 3 copies.
Yes, we have. Why have we ordered 3 copies, Robin? That's really odd.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's approaching 10:30.
Oh, maybe we should talk about why you can't order the right number of copies.
So obviously, we don't have a copy in hand at the moment because it's not out yet. In fact, and we don't have a single copy because we seem to have fallen from grace somewhere along the line. Maybe.
I'm not sure we were that far in grace to start with, but whatever we had left.
We're no longer on the Games Workshop's gift list.
No.
So we haven't seen a copy of this ourselves. We have ordered 3 from the Outpost.
I would say that the good thing about not being in the grace and having to buy it ourselves means we can say whatever shit we like about it and not feel bad.
Well, that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true. But I felt people have seen my video of the gift pack. I don't think I was particularly complimentary to it.
That's true. Did we buy that though? I thought we bought that.
I got one free and we bought.
Oh, did we? Oh, okay. But still shit. Sorry, Mick Merritt says, "Is this official?" What's that? Badmouthed them too much in the past. Maybe. I suspect there's a particular event in our past which could be.
Maybe that's it. I mean, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to say something great when it's not, because that's silly.
No, I mean the 40k stuff. We got given some 40k stuff recently, and we did some videos about that when we don't even cover 40k on the channel, and we were very positive about it because it was great stuff.
Yeah. So they even asked me to write for them for the community website, but it hasn't come out yet. Actually, I need to chase that up because it was about a month ago, over a month ago that I wrote it, and it's not come out. So and sent me some more stuff. So go figure. Anyway.
So back to we've got 3 copies for some random reason.
Yes, we've got 3 copies for random reason. It's 10:30, so I think we're going to give away one of our random copies.
We are going to give away a random copy.
Yeah.
So we need to do it. We need to tell you how to enter the giveaway. Basically.
Yes. How do we enter the giveaway, Pete?
It's very simple.
60 people watching.
Woo!
Woo! But there aren't 60 thumbs up, which I think that's poor.
Boo.
So I think we won't do the giveaway until we've got that.
So what we're going to do is, like we always do, we're going to give everybody a week's notice to enter, and we will be next week. We will be announcing the winner live. You do have to be watching. You do have to be on when we announce the winner live, and we will pick the names. We will pick the name at random on the channel. To enter, all you've got to do is in this video in the comments section once the video is finished, and that means if you're watching this the day after or a couple of days after, you can still enter. Just stick a comment down below about something about Arena Mortis that you like or you don't like, or you think is going to be interesting. Maybe it's your love of Sepulchral Guard, finally getting a few cards that they can take advantage of. Maybe it's your dislike of boards. I don't know. Whatever it is, stick it in the comments below after we finish tonight, and you will be in with a chance next week to win a copy of Arena Mortis.
Yeah, and you've got to tune in next week because we've got another giveaway next week too.
We have. We've got to announce a second giveaway next week.
We're giving this away next week and then announcing another giveaway.
Yes.
Very exciting.
It's giveaways all the way down.
I'm just going to clear up something in the chat. As far as I'm aware, I don't know the details of it at all, but John, Can You Roll the Crit, I think they mutually agreed to not be playtester. I don't think he was removed from a playtester for not being positive about Morgworth. I think it's probably because he wanted to go off and do his unofficial Grandmasters tournament and maybe just be a bit more free.
Yeah.
That he wanted to give it up. So I don't think there's anything sinister in it at all. Actually,
No,
I do have my issues with his style sometimes, but I don't think there's anything untoward or any reason. I think he just decided he didn't want, because I think it's quite a commitment as well.
It's a lot of work.
He didn't want to do it.
Yeah, it's a hell of a lot.
Even keeping quiet about stuff, it can be tricky, especially because if he's known about stuff that's a long way down the line, that can be quite hard.
Well, I mean, he must have been getting involved with Beastgrave over a year ago before Beastgrave was remotely announced. So I can't imagine how much of a pain in the arse it would have been to know about all the Beastgrave stuff, but then play a game with just Nightfall.
Yeah, exactly. So so I think it was purely a mutual consent. That's not what I meant.
I have. Well, at least they just send you to that and they don't send you the Nick anymore. I've actually had a few games when I've been playing on Underworlds Online, and I've equipped my fighter with like the Shade Glass dagger, thinking when I kill them, I'm going to get 2 glory for this, and then I can spend that 2 glory on these 2 upgrades, and I can do this other thing, and then I kill someone, I get 1 glory, and I'm sitting there going, shit, that's not what I wanted.
I've done that, or I've attacked somebody but not killed them, and then gone on to try to attack them again when it's gone. Because isn't the amber bone is only when you take somebody out of action, isn't it?
Yes, amber bone's the only one when you kill someone.
The shade glass breaks when you hit.
Yeah, and that absolutely screws me up. I like Mark's suggestion. Another way to see if board choice matters is let your opponent choose for you and see how it affects your game. So would you say, Mark, that you pick your opponent's board, but then if they win the roll-off, they place them? It's interesting, that one. I reckon it wouldn't make much difference. Certainly wouldn't make any difference to us. Really.
No, probably not.
Apart from maybe a few small things like where you have the 2 hexes where you want to inspire Vortimus.
I do feel, though, there are boards that are worse, but I just can't work out, like, from Aman just saying, this board is good for X, I can't see why. Particularly, there are a couple of Shadespire boards in particular that have really big blocked hexes, and I can completely see how you can put those around a certain way to mess somebody up. But yeah, I think it would be hard. Jeff says it will ruin him. Now, Jeff, you play a lot of
orcs.
Play Gits most of the time.
Oh, sorry, and I was Jeff. I'm thinking of Tim.
Totally know. You would totally know how you wanted it. Robin logic, there are no difference between boards, but I feel some world of worse. That's not quite
that is prime. That is prime, Robin.
I don't understand how to work out what the board is. Which one is good and which one is bad. I do know there's a difference, but I can't work it out.
I think that there's minor difference at best. I think there's a bit more for specific warbands in certain situations, like with the Eyes of the Nine, you want 2 hexes together. I think with the Gits, when you had the three movement hexes or the 3 starting hexes all next to each other, obviously that was useful for a certain Git stuff like scoring scrum and doing some other stuff, or using scurry mechanics.
But I had the same problem with that, is that it had a lethal hex behind it. So then people just pushed into your.
But you put the lethal hex at the front, wouldn't you? Unless you're not placing the boards.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the problem. If you don't win it, then anyway, it doesn't matter. It's not important.
And Jace asked, did we explain how to enter the giveaway? He zoned out. Yes. After this video is finished, after this broadcast finished tonight, put a comment below in this video to say something that you like about the game, the Arena Mortis add-on, or something you're looking forward to, or something you don't like, or something you're curious about, anything like that, something about Arena Mortis, and we will enter you into the draw. And then this time next week, you do need to be watching whilst we broadcast to be in with a chance to win. You've got to be online. If you're not online when we draw your name out, then we're going to pick someone else.
Yes, so sorry, I thought I'd go and look. Matt's put some board settings on Discord, and I thought I'd go and have a look and see what they were. But I've gone into Discord and discovered my son's been on it. This is my son's Discord, and I don't understand. I'm not sure anybody's actually talking English on it. Anyway,
Jack Malm says that he thinks board placement is by far one of the most underrated things in the game. I don't know if you've been in the whole of this conversation, Jack. You might be in the minority, but in the serious tone, I just don't think I've got really. It just doesn't seem to be that much of a thing. Apart from a few obvious things, I think the act of offsetting the boards and really putting them on diagonal or longboarding makes more of a difference than the board that you pick, to a large extent.
Well, I think, Jack, really what Pete meant was we don't understand it, but we know there are people who do. I think to an extent we're an example of actually why you're right.
I think my exact criticism was I'm not sure it's a thing, and I think people are making it up to sound better.
Okay. All right. You did say that, but I didn't actually think you meant it.
Well, you know me. I like to stay on the fence about these kind of things. I don't know. I'm unconvinced, to be honest. I think that there is a very small degree of difference made in the boards overall, and when people see these boards and they make a lot of comments about it, and I'd love to be proved wrong, and I'd love to learn more about the game and to learn that there is a new aspect to this game that I've not really picked up on. I remain unconvinced that is the case, though, to be honest.
More. We need to do some science into this. I need to ring up and to get the Discorders, the Patreon Discord, and say, right, this is my board choice. How shall I arrange them?
Yeah, and
see if we can beat Pete by committee.
Well, I'd love to be proved wrong, because that would mean I'd lose something about. I would learn something about the game. And I remember back when we were playing games a little while ago, and we got into that big discussion about placing objective markers to preemptively block lethal hex placement, which was an aspect of the game that we hadn't really considered a lot until we had that match. And
Jack says a link to the Discord, I'll blow your mind. Well, Jack, you have to pay us.
Yeah, got to pay us to get in. It's a very, very
it's a Patreon-only Discord, I'm afraid.
Yeah, but you can join at the very bottom level, and you can get access
any level gets it.
Yeah. So, I mean, someone says, would I like a long essay? No, I'd like pictures. I feel people can make anything sound relevant in a long worded document without pictures, but the minute you actually assign some kind of diagrams to stuff, I think it rapidly highlights how much people are full of shit about some subjects. I think I've worked with a lot of people in the past who are very clever people and write massive documents on shit, and then you can distill it into... I said work with, not record games with. That's a different subject. I've worked with some very clever people who can write very long documents that could be put into one fucking flowchart, and you just sit and go, that's not clever at all. What the fuck have you spent 16 pages talking about that shit for? So... there is a bullshit baffle thing go on. Andrew Marlowe, your statements are different, your notes are different, because they have instructions which you can't put into a diagram. But I think a lot of the time...
could. But yeah.
Did we work together? We worked together many years ago.
It was a long time ago.
Back when I was first learning
now I'm questioning my life choices. Was this pleased your fair language tonight, Pete? Well, fair enough.
Good. I've had enough with all this nonsense. Schmonsense.
But I'd like to see Andrew Marlowe in a sheepskin with diagrams.
With a whiteboard.
Football manager.
With blue circles and red crosses and lots of arrows.
We're going to move a petitioner to here.
but like I say, I'd love to be proved wrong with some diagrams, some stuff to go, this is why this board works good here and why this board doesn't work here. Because I think that definitely not any, but I definitely think there is a very large percentage where you say, this board's good for this, where you could say, well, that applies to like 8 out of the other 10 fucking boards as well. So you're not saying anything new there. That's what I think.
You might be right. As a man who invariably picks exactly the same board and occasionally picks a Peacegrave one because he feels like he should do, I'm probably not in a position to comment. Should we talk about some of the Arena Mortis cards?
Yes, let's do that. Let's talk about the cards.
Yeah, I'm going to go right to the bottom of the list because, I think we've already talked about Vision of Glory. I think that is a really strong card. Pete needs to go to boarding school.
Very good, that one. Very good. It doesn't sell subscriptions. You might be right, Mick. You might be very right there. So let's go and have a look at some of the cards, shall we?
Yeah, so you've got Vision of Glory, which is to spend 1 glory if you're to remove move token or a charge token. I mean, that's basically poor man's ready for action, isn't it?
It's a poor man's what?
Ready for action.
Poor man's what?
Ready for action.
Ready for action.
I'm sorry.
Oh, for God's
Sorry, I
sake.
was too slow there.
Disgraceful.
Sorry.
Let's get the ball. Yeah, Vision for Glory. I think is a good card. It is an upgrade though, so it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
it's not as good.
Yeah. No, it's not as good. That's why it's poor man's.
A good point. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll let you have that one.
it isn't as good, but it's definitely in that definitely in that arena, and we'll see. I've gone small now. Said to the wife, and
It's because it's cold.
It's yeah, I think it's going to be a powerful card you're going to see in a lot of decks, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a really good card, especially for those big offensive war bands, like when people are going to get the Mologs out or the Hrothgorn, that kind of thing. It's a must-have for those for offensive decks, I feel.
It's costing you 2 because it's an attachment. It is, but it's not really. Again, it's one of those cards that later in the game, it could win you the game just by virtue of the fact that you spend 2 glory and then charge again and kill somebody, or get it on commiss with multiple combo attacks. It could be good.
Yeah, and then there's the other one that someone's just pointed out. I can't remember what it's called now though, but it's the one where if you roll a crit, you just take a fighter out.
That's early on, I think, in the selection.
Is it called?
Must be a ploy.
Which one is it? Last Gasp? No, that's deal 1 damage, which isn't bad still, to be honest. If anyone spots it or remembers the name, shout it out because I can't remember. Oh, where is it? Oh, here we go. Spiteful Lunge. Reaction. It's an upgrade again, so again,
it's not upgraded. Sorry, my bad.
Ploy, but
sorry, my bad.
But you could put it on somebody who's just like the only option to kill at some point, and you've got to roll a crit, but you could put it on someone and then run them through lethal hexes to kill them. That's one option.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have to be a fighter that gets attacked. It's just taken out of action.
Yeah.
And you've got a 1 in 6 chance of just taking a fighter out.
It's brilliant on Skaven or Sepulchral Guard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially with the new rules. Because you might get those extra charges off and what have you.
Oh, do you discard this card?
No, you don't.
Holy shit, so you could kill someone, resurrect them, do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you give them...
I mean, the chances of you killing 2 people is pretty slim. Like 1 in 256 billion or something.
Or maybe 1 in 36.
No, that'd be ridiculous. But it will certainly obviously increase chances, and of course it stops people attacking them, especially if you're playing Pollock.
Yeah, there is that. But again, especially with Spiteful Lunge, you
Somebody's
can trigger.
Somebody's offered me 36.
you can trigger that yourself pretty much. With a couple of lethal hexes nearby, you can just run through 2 lethal hexes, and then right now I've got a 1 in 6 chance of killing someone. No, okay, res them again, do it again.
Yeah, that's true. If you get it early on the ghouls as well, you could just kill them off and then bring them back without any without using an action.
Yeah, that will get restricted very soon, I feel, just because of the. The 1 in 6 to just take out Monologue.
MPE.
Sorry.
Yeah, the MPE, the non-player negative player experience. Sorry.
Yeah.
But possibly I think it's not quite as bad as Rebound, is it? Well, in some ways it's worse. In some ways it's not as bad.
It's better than Rebound in that Rebound, once you've hit with it, your opponent then just suddenly gives you a little FU moment, and they've got a 1 in 3 chance of actually.
And also you can't see Rebound coming.
Yeah. Whereas this one, you can sort of see it.
You can play, and this is only a 1 in 6 chance.
Use it with the blue horror, but you can't use it with the blue horror. You don't use it until the brimstone's taken out.
Yeah, so I'm not sure it's so good with the blue horror.
Yeah. And I was just saying he doesn't think it would be banned at 1 in 6. I don't think it'll be banned, but I definitely think it's going to get restricted.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Watch this space.
Only because
Tight defense is a good card.
Which one?
Tight defense.
Tweak defense.
Yeah, it's basically, I was talking about earlier, it's buried instincts or whichever one gets you to put somebody on guard.
Oh yeah. And again, it's an upgrade, but it's a nice one because it's an upgrade. You don't lose it.
Yeah.
So it does mean as well that you could potentially charge, and then get a guard token put on you afterwards if someone then attacks you, and blocks reactions.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's right. I always forget that. That's another mark of a top player over an amateur player like us. We always forget that the cards can be good because they stop reactions.
Yeah. Although to be honest, for the most part, reactions still don't ever seem to be that much of a thing. So, I mean, they are for wolves, obviously.
They are for player rippers, but yes,
but not so much for others, and neither of us ever play wolves. So,
Potion of Rage. But that wouldn't stop Potion of Rage, I don't think. Oh no, after the declare attack action step. I can't remember when you play Potion of Rage.
Yeah. Wolfman Gaz says, reading it, he's wondering if you have to have at least one wound token. Do you mean for that? I can't remember what that one was just called.
Tight defense.
No, the previous one about taking somebody out on a 6.
Oh, Spiteful Lunge.
It just says when there are enough wound tokens on this fighter's card for them to be taken out, so it can be triggered at any point. You can just run through lethal hexes, just build up tokens, and then use it.
Yeah, it's the same win as Potion of Rage, the other card we were talking about, tight defense. Yeah. Noctil said, seeing this guard will be something noteworthy in Diagasm, tight defense might be a thing. Why is guard going to be noteworthy? I mean, I'm not saying the wrong. I hadn't particularly heard anything that would suggest it be any more noteworthy than it is now.
Yeah, has there been anything mentioned anywhere, or are you just hoping that it's going to be more noteworthy than it is? Because I think we all are. Or does he mean guard as in the guard? As in sepulchral guard?
I see. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think it could be more of a thing. I think Slimeful Clunge.
the guard.
Yeah.
Raid. Okay, sorry, my bad.
Youngjin says that you can't stack it with Expendable, Spiteful Lunge. I think personally, I've kind of already started to ignore cards like Expendable and Expendable is a Skaven specific one, but things like the Crown of Avarice and stuff like that, just because Nightfall's going out, so I'm just not considering anything that's not Beastgrave really.
No.
I am liking the cards where you can spend glory though. There's a few of those in there and they're quite funky. There's things like Distracting Wealth where you get +1 damage for spending 2 glory, which is quite nice, just an extra +1 damage.
Yeah, I think you said Distracting Wealth then.
Enhanced Blow, which is quite nice, spend 2 glory, +1 dice to the first attack action made. Extra accuracy is never a bad thing to have.
No.
Fancy Footwork I want to be good, I'm just not sure about that one. That's the one where after a friendly fighter's attack action with combo succeeds, draw 3 power cards. Now there is a card in here which is like 4 hammers and has combo, so it'd be useful for use with that. Audacious Feint.
You must like Ambusher.
Let me have a look.
It's only useful for the Sepulchral Guard, but as a Sepulchral Guard player, you must like Ambusher.
Distracting MILF, VJ says. So I think Audacious Feint could be useful because that's 4 hammers, which is incredibly accurate, 1 damage. You could get great strength or some other stuff in there to add to that, and it's a combo, so that it then helps you with other stuff. So
it's really important because the combo. A lot of the really good combos are off a successful attack.
Yeah.
So Audacious Feint, if you are trying to stack combos, then you've got a really good chance of getting a successful attack.
Yeah.
So being 4 hammers, and if you can get strength, great strength on there or something, as well.
Yeah.
So you're doing 2 damage. Suddenly becomes.
Jack Farm says 2 upgrades to do 1 damage and draw 3. Why do you need 2 upgrades? What have I missed? What was the other card? What was the other card you were talking about? Ambush.
Ambusher. No,
Ambusher.
That's not. That isn't in.
No.
No, because Ambusher is for Sepulchral Guard really, because you need a raise counter. But after you place a raise counter on a fighter, you can remove this fighter from the battlefield and place them in an empty hex, and then discard the upgrade. But you put it on. You can put it on where they're taken out of action.
Yeah.
So somebody takes your I don't know, champion out of action. You stick that on him, then immediately raise him back, and you can put him anywhere.
Yeah, it's quite funky.
A really nice card. Potentially, you've got to have you've got to be in the right place at the right time, I guess.
Yeah. John says, "Are there any spells?" There are no spells. Sadly enough, no spells in this one.
What is the draw 3 card? Sorry, I'm confused. I
think that's fancy footwork. That's a ploy. Yeah, it's not an upgrade. So it's only one upgrade required, and then you can then draw 3 cards off of that, which could be very handy to have those extra cards.
Play this after a friendly if I take extra. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. I was saying that's useful with the with the other card where you've got 4 hammers.
Yeah. I mean, that 4 hammer one, in my recent Morgwath deck, I included the one that was 3 swords, 1 damage, just because it felt like it was a useful way of getting a successful combo into the game, into your deck, to fire off final blow, whatever it is, the really good one, finishing blow. But Audacious Fate's even better because it puts you on guard as well.
Yeah, yeah.
I just realised it says the attack damage characteristic can't be modified, so you can't put great strength on it. But even so, for getting that successful attack off, I think it's really good.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not about how much damage you're doing; it's about setting you up, and the fact that it gives you a guard token, and it guarantees a combo hit, which could then key up another combo attack or an attack that comes off a combo. Because there's the one which gives you both. Cleave and ensnare, which is like 2 hammers, 2 damage, and you can boost the damage on that one. So there's definitely some great ones out there. Wolfman Gaz says, can combos be stacked for more than 2 attacks? No, because it's a reaction, I think, that you do immediately after an attack that has the combo keyword. And
there's no combos with a combo reaction, if that makes sense. That would be pretty nasty if you had a combo attack that would also react off another combo attack, so you could chain 3.
There is a card in here where you roll a dice and you can just keep rolling it, so you could theoretically do tons of damage.
I was looking at that one, but it's a really rubbish attack, isn't it?
It is.
Frenzied Salt.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Frenzied Salt.
Frenzied Salt. Yes, it's a 1 sword, 1 damage attack. But you can't. Well, the attack action's damage characteristics cannot be modified, so you can increase the chance of the first one, or maybe even second one if you've got the right cards in hand. But they can make it again. I mean, it could be good if you had the new one where you stand on a objective and you can get a +1 dice. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Hello, Alex. Alex has just joined us, and to anybody who has just joined us, you will want to go back and re-watch this video once we're done tonight to find out how you can enter the draw to get your own copy of Arena Mortis. So do go back and watch it afterwards.
Yeah.
So yeah, I quite like Frenzied Assault. I mean, you've only got a 1 in 3 chance of getting hit. But you've got to make a successful attack as well, so you've got to rely on your opponent not saving it. So that takes the odds down massively, I think.
Does Arena Mortis use rotation? I don't know.
What do we mean by use rotation?
Well, can you play Shadespire cards in it?
Oh, that's a good point. I hadn't thought of that, but I presume not.
I don't know, yeah. It's probably up to whoever you're playing with. It doesn't, apparently.
Youngjin says it doesn't.
Cards. Shadespire cards are legal. So basically everybody's going to play Shadespire cards.
Yeah, because they were all the really offensive ones, so... I mean, we only ever play what's ever in the actual rotation, purely because, obviously, if we played Shadespire cards, then we'd get told very quickly that the cards we were playing aren't allowed. So that's why we just stick to the current ones.
Let you make it a noise.
Yeah, let me... sorry, there you go. Is that better?
Sharpening a pencil.
No, just casually sharpening some pencils. So there's a few nice cards there. I like things like At Any Cost, which I think are going to maybe make you have to think a bit more about what you do with your glory, but could be a bit overpowered. I think that's going to get restricted.
Yes, Craig says it looks like I have to buy the expansion to get 3 cards on the board. That's my feeling too, Craig.
Yeah, I think that's pretty. But then that was pretty much the same with the gift pack, wasn't it? you bought the gift pack to get well, you probably got actually more useful cards in the gift pack, and that useless bloody cardboard POS thing that held your tokens, which was fine as long as you didn't score more than about 4 glory, because they didn't fit in the fucking thing in the first place. So yeah, great. So no one, I've played against people who used that, and it just seemed to make things more awkward, because then you had a very specific area of where you had to put stuff. And the minute they had more than about 6 glory as well, they were like just putting glory on top of glory, and then turning tokens over. Like, I have no idea what you've scored and what you've spent, so you could be making anything up now, because it's just not clear.
That's me in every game.
Yeah, although to be fair, at least it's neater for our games. So
when a tournament, I meant more. A tournament, I've absolutely no idea what my opponent scored. I'm so staring at my own cards and crying that I forgot to even count what my opponent was doing. Rosa says, did we work out whether the wolf can attack after combo? He asked on the Discord apparently, but he can't remember the complete I can't remember either.
I think so, because the combos come after a successful combo attack, but the wolf attack is after the action, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so, except after the attack is also after the activation now.
Oh, good point. Yes, I don't think you can.
Yeah, so I'm not sure that you can. I think combo interrupts the wolf.
Yes, because the end of activation and after the attack action are both the same point, aren't they?
No, Jack says you can, yes, so he's probably right.
Well, unless
that's about a Shakespeare card.
I'd like to know the logic, but yes, I think I don't think you can, because after an action and after an activation are the same window.
Yeah.
DW have confirmed that one, so yeah.
I think that's right.
Somebody asked a question. Oh, it was Matt asking about what token thingy. That little board that you got, Matt, and it had the area.
It came with the gift pack.
Yeah, it came with the gift pack.
The excuse to make the gift pack more expensive than it was. I mean, well, not more expensive, as expensive as it was.
The other tokens, those 3 little poker chip style tokens that came out, were nice, but again, never used them, never had a reason. So,
But you have to go normal attack with combo attack, wolf attack.
See, I think the combo attack blocks the wolf attack.
Well, I think it might do, because it's after successful attack action normally, isn't it?
Let's have a look at the combo card.
After the successful attack action is after the. It depends where it comes with the. Yeah. I think it would be, because after that first attack would be a. That's the end of the activation.
Because, for example, finishing blow says, after this fight, successful attack action with combo, make this attack action. But that's the same window after a successful attack action as after an activation, which the wolf has.
Yeah, it's one of the crazy things about the game.
And
anyway.
if we quickly grab the wolf cards, for example, and just look at the fighter cards. Let's bring one of them up.
Bring up the wolf.
Come on, show me the fighter cards.
You know that the warband cards are all at the top. There's a link to warbands at the top of there.
Oh yeah, I didn't think of that. But I want to stay on the screen where all the other cards are, so I could search for a combo card. So this is after this fight's activation that includes an attack action, and that's exactly the same window as after a successful attack action.
Yeah.
So
attack action and after an activation are the same, aren't they?
Yes. Yeah. GW clarified that in one of their FAQ things, I think. So
there you go, Rosa. I think the answer is no.
Yeah. They do clash. You cannot use a combo attack with the wolves, which is another thing which makes the wolves a little bit shitter.
Yeah. Now, I know some people have great success with wolves. I'm not one of them.
Yeah, and I just find the minute you take a card that interrupts the wolf's bite, they're screwed. Even if it's a reaction that makes no sense, like we found out in that Grimwatch game where I had the bat upgrade.
Bats. Yeah, as we talked about this last week. The bats are flapping over there at the back of the board. Oh, well, that means I can't attack you now.
Yeah, like, where's the logic in that? But there you go. That is sadly the case.
Michael Snap says, hey, stop picking on my puppies. Well, it's not so much other people. It's not us picking on them. It's more that when I play them, other people pick on them. Chop it into tiny pieces.
And I think the other problem I've got with, because we probably need to wrap this up now with Arena Mortis, because it is 11 o'clock, so it is time for us to say goodnight. I think the majority of people are going to buy this for the board choices, because we're going to lose a load of boards come December. And then for about 2 cards. There'll be some Sepulchral Guard players which are going to sit there and think there are a few that look funky for when you raise fighters. But again, there's not many Sepulchral Guard players out there, so I don't think it's going to make much of a difference to them. So overall, I'm not massively impressed by Arena Mortis, and I think, like you pointed out earlier, Robin, I think it's a bit tone deaf to release a multiplayer game during the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate thing, but yes, I think that's a little bit of a shame, definitely, or a lot of a shame.
Yeah, and I know.
Made a very good point. Just to go back to the thing, you can do scything attacks with Rippers, but that doesn't count. I mean, that doesn't stop the wolf attacking, but a combo does, which is a bit daft, isn't it?
Yeah.
The gauntlets. I was going to talk about the gauntlets or those Mortis relics. The gauntlets aren't bad.
The gauntlets. What were those?
Yeah, you can spend a glory point and push a fighter 1 hex after activation. And if you have 2 or more Mortis relics, you get +1 damage to the fighter's range 1 and 2 attack actions, which isn't bad because the other one is quite good. I think one of the other later ones is quite good. The Crown of the Dead Mortis relic. If the fighter has 2 or more Mortis, that's the same. Oh no, if the fighter has 2 or more Mortis relics with the Crown of the Dead on, you can re-roll 1 attack dice, and then you can spend a glory point to draw 2 power cards and discard 1 power card, which is not a bad little combination.
You've got the Gauntlet of Command, which gives you a reaction that after this fighter's activation, spend a glory, and you can push a fighter 1 hex, which is a bit bleh. It's all right. You've got the Gauntlet of Dominance, which is a reaction which after this fighter's activation, spend a glory, push 1 enemy fighter 1 hex. And then you've got the Crown of the Dead, which is a reaction of after this fighter's activation, spend 1 glory. If you do, draw 2 power cards and discard 1. So they've each got their own reaction, so you obviously won't be able to use them all. But if you have 2 of them, then they give you something extra, which is either +1 wound, +1 damage, or a reroll to 1 attack dice.
Yeah.
They're all right. They're a bit fluffy. I'm not sure they're going to be.
I don't think they're going to be top level competitive play. I quite like them thematically. They're quite interesting.
Yeah.
I think Jonathan talking about the solo game. I think the solo game is also available to download. I believe, isn't it? That
was free to download the solo
page.
game.
And it is in White Dwarf, but I think they put it to download as well. Because I haven't got the White Dwarf, but I have seen the single player version. So I think that kind of wraps it up.
Yeah.
Lazarus is right. The price isn't too bad considering it's boards and cards that we buy separately anyway. That's true. It's just capitalism at the end of the day, isn't it? I just find it a little bit kind of like you kind of made lots of things I don't really need, but I need a couple of them. Particularly as we do the channel.
Yes.
Because we want to be current, but I've got to. There are cards that I do want to play, so I've got to buy the whole lot. And probably I will use the board, but probably put most of the cards in the box with the rest that don't get used.
Yeah.
And then play Vision of Glory, Tight Defense, and
maybe on a random occasion where you try to go for a combo heavy deck and go for that other one with the 4 hammers and try and pull that
I'll
out
probably
the bag.
play that. Yeah, I'll probably play that one. I feel like there was another card near the top somewhere. Oh, I might play at any cost to get the extra charge action.
Yeah, and even then, a lot of the time there'll probably be the 11th card that gets cut, something like that.
Yeah, probably.
So overall, not great. But then it's a bit like the gift pack, and a bit like Powers Unbound before it.
Yeah. Hopefully, I don't think so many of these will be restricted like they were in Power Unbound. The power level of these cards is.
It's actually because they're shitter.
Yes. So I'm contradicting myself. Well, I think he didn't mind buying Power Unbound because it had some really good cards in it, and then they restricted them all.
Yeah.
But of course, that in itself is a conundrum, isn't it? Because if they made a pack that was entirely worth buying, it would just replace all the cards that are left in the game. So it would be they'd have to restrict them all. So it's an interesting one. They can't make a pack with cards that you want to buy loads, or you want to use them all, unless they're faction specific, I suppose.
That would be the only way I think they can make a pack, would be a faction specific pack, because then you wouldn't mind as much.
Yeah.
But then when they did that faction specific pack, I can't remember what it's called now. Back in Shadespire days, I think it was.
So the leaders and Power Unbound had faction specific in it, didn't it? But they were rubbish. So anyway.
Jack Varnum just said, "Okay, Google, what is buyer's remorse?" Yeah, pretty much that.
Exactly.
But we buy it. We already have the remorse before we buy it. Because they
That's the
show
problem
you,
with spoilers.
yeah, they show you what you're getting,
That's the
so you're
problem with
like,
spoilers.
oh, good. So I guess I'm going to buy this, even though I don't really want to buy it. So there we go. That's what we think about it. We're not massively bowled over, but at the same time, there's a few cards in there that might be some use. So yeah, what are you going to do? It's like Robin says, that's capitalism at the end of the day.
Yeah, and it is the same every time. You know that whatever you're buying, you're actually only going to use 10%, 25% of the product,
Yeah,
just because of the nature of the game.
yeah, especially with a
Um,
card game like this, there's always going to be dead cards. It's
yeah,
not as bad as like Champions was.
yeah, because Mick Marriott said next season blind booster packs that would be far worse. So
If
I can't really
GW,
know.
if
Can't really know.
GW ever put blind booster packs into this game, I will quit.
Yeah, quit. Yeah.
Just
This
not
just
doing it.
in, GW announced blind boosters for.
Goodbye. Oh well, looks like we'll be concentrating on Necromunda and Crisis Protocol.
Rosa loves blind boosters.
Fucking
That's
hate
just
them.
youth. That's just youth, I reckon.
Nothing
You're still
annoys
excited.
me more.
It's just you're still excited about buying football stickers.
Nothing. Oh, sorry, it's the Glory House just set off their Google Home. Okay, Google, load me up some porn. Goat porn. I can never work out when people say goat porn. Do they mean porn for goats or porn with goats? I actually don't want to know. Okay, Google, what's the difference between... The thing that
In a
annoys me...
7-year-old in Rosa is jumping into the roof.
I have to say
I don't
that
let my children jump into the roof.
the thing that annoys me about booster packs is I go out and I buy packs of stuff and I'm really excited and I open them all like, oh, so I guess I've got fuck all for my money because I don't want any of this. So I'm like, ugh, that's why I hate them. That's why they should all burn in hell.
Mark Reynolds is coming up with some good uses for the gauntlets. So
Free distraction, yeah, that's never a bad thing. Yeah. Trouble is you've got to get 2 of them on there, haven't you? Oh no, because you get the reaction regardless.
get some bits and pieces.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I
Right.
avoid any kind of blind boxes or random picks or booster packs like the plague. But there we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's us. That's our view on Arena Mortis. And if you have only just joined us, we are leaving, so sorry about that. But do check out the whole video and find out how you can enter with a chance to win next week when we do a live draw giveaway.
Yes, we'll be giving away this
Mortis.
product that we don't like very much. No, we'll be giving away the wonderful box that is Arena Mortis, and we're playing Necromunda this week, so we won't play. Well, we can't play with the cards anyway. So next week we'll play some games with the cards.
Yeah, because we'll have the boxes next weekend, so we'll actually be able to play with them.
Yeah.
Once we get our copy delivered to us, paid for with our beautiful Patreon and money.
Roger says he collects champions now because you can get a full box of eBay for a third of the price.
Just know how to play.
Don't know how to play. Okay. Into the Glory Soldier says love Crisis Protocol. I'm going to talk to him about that offline. What he means by that. Right. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you for tuning
have a
in.
great week.
It's been a great chat as always. Thanks for everybody joining in.
One thing I have to say is the normal YouTube battle report this week will be coming out slightly differently because we're part of Tabletop Gaming Live online, because this weekend was going to be when our Agents Con was going to be, and it's not happening. But they asked us to make a couple of videos for their live event, their online event. So we've done that, but they're in charge of when they're going to be released. I'm not sure when they'll be released, but there won't be one on YouTube on Friday night. Patreon service will continue as normal. I think they've got Necromunda this week, haven't they, Pete?
They have. Yeah,
Patreon service will continue as usual, but YouTube will be at some point over the weekend. But do look out, there'll be 2 videos, so do look out for those, and do check out the other Tabletop Gaming Live content. I'm not quite sure what else is there, but there's probably lots of people who are far bigger in the gaming industry than us to go and look at.
Impossible. Not in Underworlds, at least.
No, there's nobody bigger than us in Underworld.
And if you do want to see what's going to be appearing on YouTube on Saturday for Tabletop Gaming, then our patrons have already seen it. It's already live on Patreon, and you can join there and get access to it immediately.
Whoa. Yes.
So just throw that one out for you, just in case. Just
yeah, you could spoil the whole event, Patroners, by telling everybody what happens.
Just sit there, live tweeting as they play. He's going to miss the next roll. That way, Crit defends this one.
Brilliant.
So thank you all for joining. Stay well, everybody. Thank you for coming along and making such an enjoyable little chat tonight. And we shall see you soon in the Beast Grave, or maybe the Underhive.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Bye.